Hi guys, the Viking here, welcome back to the channel, and today is my review for Fear the Walking Dead Season 6, Episode 5, titled Honey. Now, it's been no doubt that Fear the Walking Dead has been absolutely outstanding this year so far. The character development, the action, the filler episodes with substance. Absolutely been brilliant writing from the writers, and this is how The Walking Dead, the main show, was so successful for so long. These type of stories were being told. Even if you had episodes that didn't have much going on, it did have much going on with the substance and the amount of character development that was put into it, but there was something interesting going on. And this season of The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, has been absolutely outstanding. I've been really taken back by how good it really is. And this episode is no different. Now, the first opening minutes of this episode is kind of a horror element. You got Sherry and Dwight in this kind of abandoned house. Well, all houses are abandoned in the zombie apocalypse. But yeah, Sherry kind of goes missing, Dwight goes looking, and these guys in these white masks are just around the house and they captured Dwight. That's kind of scary, and those masks were scary, and I didn't know exactly who these people were going to be, but we found out that Sherry was actually a part of this community, and basically what this community is, they're outcasts from Virginia's group. So Virginia decided these people weren't good enough for her community. They didn't add anything, so she either kicked them out or they probably ran away. So that's kind of interesting. These outcasts of Virginia's group, of course, they want Virginia dead. They want to live their lives. They want to go day to day without looking over their shoulders and fear that Virginia finds them, and she will kill them if she does. But they come up with this elaborate plan that if they get this MRAP truck, which is a big weapon with a lot of machines in it for guns, then they feel like they can kill Virginia and take down Virginia's group. That's basically what the plan of this episode is. Morgan comes into it, and what I love about Morgan this season is that he's not in every single scene, every single episode, but he links every episode together. Like, this season is more of an anthology season than anything. Different characters each episode, different story going on, and that can be boring, and that has been boring in the main show The Walking Dead at times, but it wasn't done with this kind of substance, this kind of action. And that's what Morgan is kind of linking everything together. He pops up at the start or at the end of each episode. In this episode he's done a lot more. So the plan is to take down this truck. They get the truck, they capture a guy inside. Well, he runs away, and Morgan is the one who captures him. And Morgan just looks like a cowboy out of the Wild West. He really does. He is the bounty hunter now. He has his horse. Was the dog in this episode? I can't really remember, but that's what he kind of has. He's that Western gunslinger vibe to him, and it's pretty cool to see Morgan have another character change, because he is a character that's been around for a very long time, but his character development is outstanding. I love Lenny James as Morgan. He's such a great actor. But they capture that guy because he's seen Dwight's face, and it was kind of cool how this episode was about kind of mental state and about how you can change as a person when you meet certain people. Like, we all know that Dwight wasn't the best person when he was a savior. That's what made Sherry leave, because it wasn't the Dwight that she fell in love with. She didn't like the person she became either, so she left. But there is elements in this episode where we see the old Dwight come back. We see the old Sherry. And maybe they bring this out in each other, or they just haven't fully run away from the leash that Negan had them on. Like, I found that so interesting in this episode. And there's the dilemma with the guy. They want to find information with him about Virginia. Where is she going to be at? They threaten him with a dog or kind of a wolf to eat him alive. But Sherry doesn't like that Dwight was willing to do that. And then it makes Dwight look at himself and say, have I outgrown of being a savior yet? Am I still that kind of person? Even you have Morgan kind of questioning, are you going to go back to being that kind of person? I just found it so fascinating. And Morgan is no saint either, but he's a different outlook on life again. I love Morgan so much because his mentality changes season from season like a person would. Our mentalities change a lot. Teens question who we are as people, and Morgan wants to build a community full of people. That's what his end goal is. But unlike before, he's willing to kill to keep the people he loves alive, and that's what he wants to do. But I found that the dilemma between Sherry, Dwight, and even Negan, who's not even in this episode, but he had a huge part to play in this, because he still has that mental state. He still has that mental leash on Sherry, definitely, and maybe Dwight, when they were put into this kind of situations. So I found that so interesting. But yeah, Morgan doesn't want them to attack Virginia straight away, because it'll be a war. And he has his family in that community. He doesn't want them to die. Strand, of course, those kind of people. He doesn't want them to die. He wants it done right. But of course, Sherry and her group go and do it without Morgan's advice, because Morgan wants to build a community. Dwight is kind of torn between helping Sherry, but then he realizes it's the wrong decision. But she captures him. She puts him away in kind of a cell away from what's going to happen, because she doesn't want him in the way. So they get to the point where they have Virginia meeting at a certain place, and in hope Virginia is the one that meets them there so they can kill her. But Virginia doesn't show up. Dwight catches up with Sherry and tells her not to do this. This is using the MRAP to unleash bullets on the Virginia's group, which would result in a war, because it would get back to Virginia in some way. She would send troops out, things like that. It just would end badly for the group, big time. Especially if you found out that Morgan was a part of it. Also, if Dwight was a part of it as well. But Dwight's able to talk some sense into Sherry, and she says him in a line. And I think that's a reference towards Negan. That's my interpretation of it. That's my symbolism of it. And also, did you guys catch the symbolism with the wolf? My interpretation of the scene where Dwight is kind of engaging with the dog a lot, and the dog is kind of barking at him. But then later in the episode, Dwight is the one who lets the dog out, and the dog goes free. That was my kind of interpretation of Dwight letting go of his saviour self. It really was. He had Daryl trapped in the cage. For me, the dog was Daryl. And this was about Dwight letting go of his saviour past. So that symbolism for me was worth this entire episode. I really loved that. Maybe you guys had a different interpretation of it. Maybe you didn't think that's exactly what it was. But for me, him opening that cage, letting the dog go out, probably letting go of his old self, and that is a little reference towards Daryl. But Sherry and Dwight just aren't ready to be with each other right now, and that's understandable. They haven't met each other in a very long time. They're still trying to outgrow the person that they used to be, and with them being back together, it brings up a lot of bad memories. But I'm sure that relationship will work out in the end, and we'll meet Sherry near the end of the season. But this episode overall was pretty good, guys, and I enjoyed it. I really did. I think the writing is absolutely brilliant. Even if this episode was kind of not the worst episode this season. I don't like using worst, but maybe the episode where less stuff happened, but it was still interesting. It was still engaging. The character development was still brilliant. But there's 2 episodes left, guys, of this season because of COVID. Didn't get to shoot episode 8, which is unfortunate. We've got episode 6 and 7 left, which should be good. Hopefully they're great episodes, but maybe they'll get to shoot the additional episodes in the new year. Maybe, hopefully, they get to do, because I don't want this season to end. I want them to continue this kind of writing pace, and it's such a shame that when the show has got absolutely brilliant, it was cut short due to COVID. But hopefully they can go back and shoot more. Guys, I want to hear your thoughts about this episode of Fear the Walking Dead, Honey. Let me know in the comments below. Give a like, comment, subscribe. Come follow me on all the social media. I'm interested in what you have to say. Guys, I'll do a review of World Beyond as well. I'm about to watch that right now. So, yeah, keep an eye out for that.